This episode of Rick and Rick Rule the World is brought to you by Taskin, the first name in premium quality travel gear, with slim, stylish gear like the Taskin Edge professional laptop backpack for business and travel. Save 30% on your next purchase when you use promo code RNR TAKE 30 at TaskinSF.com.
Next up on the all-new Rick and Rick.
Stranger Things hits the road with a newfangled drive-into experience.
Amazon's fall product announcements include a new security drone that has a familiar ring to it.
Unanswered comments on McDonald's Facebook page get some helpful replies from Burger King, plus loaded questions and a whole lot more.
And it all starts right here, right now.
On the one show where everybody likes to rick up some dust.
And everybody rules the world.
Hello, my friend. Welcome, everybody, to an all-new episode of Rick and Rick Rule the World. I'm Rick Matheson, and I am joined, as always, by my good pal, Antonio Sabato Jr. Rick Wooten. How you doing, Rick?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I don't know about you. I'm sure you're experiencing something like this. I've had on-again, off-again weekends for weeks now where I've been planning to get together with a friend to go golf because we can do it outside and we can social distance and all that. And then the giant fires come through and we get smoked out, so we cancel out one weekend. Then something happens the next weekend. Then he's quarantined to go see his in-laws or something. It's been freaking 6 weeks. And now this weekend, I'm on like crazy deadlines. And so I don't know if I'm going to have to reach out to him again. It's like, dang it, we're not going to be able to get together.
Oh, no.
I'm sure you've had stuff like that.
Yeah, it's been a tough period of time. I mean, I probably haven't seen a lot of my friends for 6 months at this point. I'm not even sure they remember who I am other than listening to our podcast, of course. And so, it's been crazy. There's been a lot of things I've wanted to do. I've actually, I mentioned before, my son's gone off to college. So I've decided, you know what, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to go up and go see him on a trip and, take the risk and go because I feel like I've just kind of been trapped here for a little bit.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be good for you. Plus, you said that they're on a better stage than we are anyway, so be able to do more stuff.
That's true, that they are. Although I did just hear that San Francisco opened up indoor dining recently. So here down in the South Bay, we actually can get a haircut, which I'm very excited about. And then in San Francisco, you can actually go sit down at a table and have dinner.
Yeah, that'll be interesting first time back. I got an email from my gym that you can go to the gym now, and I was cracking up because it sounded so ridiculous. There were smart requirements, but I was thinking, yeah, not going to try that for a while. They have this thing where they can only be 10% full. It's first come, first serve. So you could be waiting outside the gym till enough people leave. So I'm not going to be trying that anytime soon. Haircut, that might be a different story.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy, making people wait outside the gym to get it. I mean, to your point, it makes sense, but I don't know that I have the commitment that I would wait outside for a half hour while somebody else works out inside.
Exactly. Now, I am thankfully one of those people that if I'm going to work out, I go very early in the morning. It has never been crowded for me, but I don't know what this looks like yet. I don't know what 10% full is going to mean in the hour that I normally go. So yeah, I'm kind of skeptical it's going to work out real well anytime soon, but at least it's a step forward.
Yeah.
You know what else is a step forward is our first segment here as we dive into the show, and it is Radar Love. Netflix hasn't announced when season 4 of Stranger Things is going to drop, but it is out with this new experiential promotion that's custom built for the COVID age. Stranger Things, the drive-into experience.
Yeah, I thought this was kind of cool. We've talked about this kind of stuff before. This is kind of like what they did with HBO did with Westworld, and it's this overall experience. Now, I'm not sure how exactly this works because it talks about being kind of a drive-in kind of experience. So I don't know if that means a drive into a theater or drive through, kind of like a haunted house kind of experience, but it sounded really neat. And apparently, from what I heard, that they're sold out nights and nights and nights in advance, and so it's very difficult to actually get in there. But they got the whole thing. They got the flashing TVs. They got the wall with letters on it. They got the whole experience kind of baked into this drive experience. And I would love to get down there and go see it.
Oh, I totally would love to see this. That it's a 1 hour experience and it's set up in downtown Los Angeles. The idea is it lets you drive into Hawkins circa 1985 and you're armed with a walkie-talkie that adds audio to the adventure. And I guess you get to drive into the Starcourt Mall where you're dazzled by, quote, mind-blowing audio-visual effects all tied to the show. I think this sounds really, really fun.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned a release date. The reason they don't have a release date is they started filming season 4 in January. Ran through, and of course, COVID happened, and they had planned on originally finishing the season 4 filming in August. Clearly, that didn't happen, and they've just actually gone back to filming. I believe they started the filming, the refilming, or the continuation of the filming on September 28th. So they were shut down for quite a while. So of course now the whole thing's going to be delayed because they lost whatever it is, 6 months of filming. They got to pick up with it again, and they may have to do some reshoots, right? I mean, a lot of the actors and actresses are fairly young, so they have to make sure that everything looks and makes sense. Normally they'd kind of compact it into a short period of time.
Are you telling me that 11 has turned 12?
Maybe so.
And I did hear people speculating that the new season may come out next April. And that's assuming that A, Russia figures prominently into the season, given where we last saw Sheriff Hopper in that post-credit stinger at the season finale of season 3. And B, because April 1986 saw the Chernobyl disaster.
Oh, interesting. Well, it makes sense considering where season 3 left off. So, I think I would buy into that. And they've all but confirmed at this point that they're definitely moving out of just being in the one town, that they're definitely moving out to more regions.
Yeah, they had to do that. I think it's a good move and perfectly timely. They had so much. So they had the whole, zeitgeist of 1985 in season 3, which I feel like I want to watch again. I really enjoyed that. And then opening up to the broader world and all the things that were happening in the world in 1986. So I think that could be a good move. What else is a good move is to hang on through this next break, because when we get back, we're going to be talking the good, the bad, and the marketing. So don't go anywhere. Rick Nation, don't forget to check out our website at rickandrick.com. It's double the Rick in just one click at rickandrick.com. Welcome back to Rick and Rick Rule the World. Rick Matheson here with Rick Wooten. And it's time for the good, the bad, and the marketing, starting with, and I almost hesitate to bring it up, Rick, Whopper Reply. So we're going to have BK in yet another consecutive episode of Rick and Rick. We really need to cut down on this, but they keep doing really great things. This time, BK Denmark they went on to McDonald's Facebook page there. I guess there were unanswered comments and questions and things from people on the Mickey D's page there that had literally been left unanswered for years in some cases. And so BK goes on and they start offering some helpful advice and included a offer on a Whopper sandwich. And, as Burger King puts it, what are friends for? And of course, these people were surprised and delighted. They're leaving messages back. Great. Thanks so much, Burger King. All I can say is that is one hell of a flame grilling.
Well, now that they're kind of dating after the last show, it only makes sense that they would help each other out. Yeah, I thought this was clever. That's the whole thing with Burger King and their different creative agencies. And I think this was a different one, right? This was one, Uncle Gray in Denmark. And so, it's kind of interesting because they found a formula that works even when they transcend multiple regions. And, frankly, I think if they did this here, this is fantastic. I want to steal the idea. I want to go because I just think this is genius. So yeah, we've got to stop talking about them, but it's hard to because they keep coming up with something just unique and different all the time.
Yeah, it's really interesting when you look at this type of thing because it's almost like found opportunity. They identified an opportunity, they acted on it. In truth, if they had just done that, only the people that ever log on or follow Facebook would ever have known about this. But they also quickly create these little videos, and that's where they get the leverage for pennies on the dollar, all kinds of coverage and virility to it, and have people like us around the world talking about it.
But, and you got to wonder if there isn't, kind of a dad joke in here about them flame broiling the competition.
What else is cool is when we come back from this break, we're going to be playing Loaded Questions. So stay tuned. This episode of Rick and Rick Rule the World is brought to you by Taskin, the first name in premium quality travel gear with slim, stylish gear like the Taskin Edge professional laptop backpack for business and travel. Save 30% on your next purchase when you use promo code RNR TAKE30 at TaskinSF.com. And we are back. Welcome back to Rick and Rick Rule the World. This is Rick Matheson and Rick Wooten, and we're going to play some loaded questions. And here is question 1. Which of the following has launched just in time for International Coffee Day? A. Starbucks Pumpkin Spiked Latte. B. Pabst Blue Ribbon Hard Cold Brew. C. Bailey's Irish Coffee IPA. Or D. Bud Light Breakfast Brew. Which of these launched just in time for International Coffee Day?
Wow, I'm going to guess it's the Bailey's one.
That's a very good guess, but no, the answer is B. So according to foodandwine.com, Pabst Blue Ribbon Hard Cold Brew launched ahead of International Coffee Day, which I didn't even know was a thing because every day is coffee day for me. But apparently it packs 4.2% alcohol and 30 milligrams of caffeine. So I'm thinking it kind of sounds like, the vodka and Red Bull of coffee drinks, I think.
I was literally thinking that. It's one of those, it'll wake you up and, make you drunk at the same time.
I have never once thought I want to do both at the same time.
Well, I have never done it either. Wink, wink.
I know. What the hell? So I was thinking about this when I saw this, that I'd completely forgotten that you don't drink coffee. I think that's just crazy. I'd completely forgotten about that. But it makes all the caffeinated gum make sense now after all these years. But I know you do partake in the other kinds, so don't wink me. But I will say at least this sounds better than this rumor I heard about, Kiernan, the Japanese beer. Apparently Japan is the country where that first launched International Coffee Day, which is another kind of crazy thing. But rumor has it they are launching a Maria Kondo Domo Affogato, which I guess is billed as a, quote, cold, hard dessert brew with a nice, clean finish. Just kidding. Question number 2. What 1990s blockbuster movie franchise recently staged a Zoom-based reunion sequel on Netflix? A. Lethal Weapon. B. The Blade Trilogy. C. Father of the Bride. Or D. Children of the Corn. The cast of which of these franchises just recently staged a Zoom-based sequel for Netflix?
I wish it was Blade. I mean, that is one of my favorite, anti-superhero movies. But I'm going to guess Father of the Bride.
And you would guess correct. So the answer is C. Steve Martin, Diane Keaton, and the rest of the Banks family reunited after 25 years for Father of the Bride Part 3-ish. It was a special COVID-era sequel benefiting a charity dedicated to fighting hunger. Now, this time out, the family throws a surprise wedding on Zoom as George and Nina's son, Matty, played by Kieran Culkin, he asks his doctor fiancé to marry him via Zoom in nuptials presided by none other than Martin Short's Franck. Yeah, it was clever. All right, question number 3. According to surveys, what percentage of Americans believe in ghosts? A, 13%, B, 45%, C, 22%, or D, 77%? According to surveys, which percentage of Americans believe in ghosts?
1 in 4 feels right. So I'm going to guess 22%.
Probably a good guess, but no, this time the answer is B. So according to a 2019 YouGov survey, 45% of Americans believe in ghosts. It made me think of some of the things that we've talked about, audio phenomena on the show. This I read recently. Apparently sound waves that vibrate just below our range of hearing, something that is now called the fear frequency, has something to do with ghost sightings. So apparently, a British engineer discovered this. He was working late one night and inexplicably felt the hairs on his neck stand up. And he turned and he caught a glimpse of a gray blob, which vanished when, he turned his head toward it. Well, the next day, he's a scientist, so he's not, it's like, I did not just see what I just saw, right? So the next day, he's working, and then he notices that this extractor fan in the lab, he noticed that it was emitting a resonant frequency around 18.8 hertz. So this is roughly the same resonant frequency as the human eye. So he figures that the gray blob he saw was an optical illusion caused by his eyeballs resonating at just that frequency. And apparently, in separate later tests, about 22% of people experience similar levels of anxiety and fear when exposed to that frequency. Apparently, the sounds between 5 and 9 hertz are said to make people lose control of their bowels. So, if you're shitting your pants and you see a ghost, there's probably something around you that's operating at 5 to 9 hertz. All right. Well, speaking of ghosts and scary movies, it's time for us to make like The Exorcist and get the hell out of here. If you like this episode, be sure to subscribe to Rick and Rick for free wherever you get podcasts. And if that wherever happens to be on iTunes, please be sure to leave a 5-star review while you're at it. Rick Wooten, hit us with your Twitter handle.
My Twitter handle is @Wooten, WOOTTEN. And how about yourself, Rick?
And my Twitter handle is @Rick Matheson, and you can find us both at rickandrick.com. Until next time, stay safe and be sure, keep on coming back to the one show where everybody's name is Rick.
And everybody rules the world.